The Canon R5's next firmware update will be coming in November with C-Log 3, Cinema Raw Light, further temperature control adjustments, and more. And finally, the APS-C RF mount camera is pretty much confirmed. These stories and my channel's first year anniversary coming up after the intro. Let's get into it. Hi, I'm Simon. Thanks for tuning into the Ordinary Filmmaker. If you're new here, subscribe to get notification of new videos like this one so you don't miss any news, rumors, or tutorials. And by the way, I'm giving away a brand new Canon EOS R5 full-frame mirrorless camera to one lucky viewer. Details are in the description down below, or you can watch this video here, but essentially there's no jumping through hoops. There are some restrictions, but essentially all you have to do is subscribe for your chance to win. All right, now to today's news. We've got some interesting news coming up. Canon Rumors was able to confirm that the next R5 firmware update is coming in November. The next firmware is expected to deliver on Cinema Raw Light, C-Log 2, C-Log 3, video recording at 120 frames per second in 1080. Now, while this option isn't available in the R5 right now, you can get 120 frames per second by downsampling from 4K. And we're also supposed to get additional adjustments to the temperature controls and, of course, various bug fixes. But now for something even more newsworthy. Every few months we see rumors about an APS-C RF mount camera, especially when talks about a new EF mount camera come around. Canon Rumors says that an APS-C RF mount camera is going to market in the second half of 2021. The rumor's been validated from multiple sources and it's considered reliable. It will be the smallest RF mount camera to date, although not that much smaller than the Canon RP. The APS-C camera will use the same RF mount. Canon will come up with different focal lengths designed specifically for this APS-C censored RF body. Sadly, no specs were leaked, but in previous rumors, we've been told that this first APS-C RF mount camera is going to be a high-end unit. Now, this time, there's no details, so we'll just have to wait and see on that. So, what will this new camera be called? Will they give it a people-friendly name like Ed or Steve? No, I don't think so. I don't think Canon's got that sense of humor. They'll likely call it something like the R7 if it's a high-end camera, or something like the R10 if it's a lower-end unit. But the specs do matter. Low-end specs means that, well, essentially the end of the EFM line. High-end specs means, well, it's still the end of the EFM line, but not for a few more years. So that's really interesting. I'm really curious to see what kind of camera they're going to come out with, and keeping the same mount, I think that works really, really well. Now, what Canon did with the EF mount is they came out with an EFS mount for the APS-C cameras. Now, you could still take those EF lenses and adapt them onto an EFS mount body, but you couldn't go the other way. And what's great here is if you have a lower end unit, you still have access to all of those lenses, all of the RF lenses, all of the EFS and EF lenses with the adapter. So you're not going to be at a loss. And of course, don't forget there's all those third-party lenses as well. In this episode of Behind the Scenes, I want to take you back in time to my first video, back on October the 27th, 2019, exactly 1 year ago today. I produced this video at about 7 o'clock in the evening, maybe 8 o'clock in the evening. I don't quite remember, but I was sitting down watching TV, and I was watching Casey from Camera Conspiracies, and I liked his sense of humor. I think he was doing a boardroom piece at the time. And I kind of looked at what Casey was doing, and I thought, you know, and I've been watching YouTube for months and months, different channels about cameras, and I thought, you know, how hard would it be to do my own YouTube channel? Now, Casey, he made it look easy. He didn't have complicated sets or complicated lighting. He was basically filming in his mother's house, partitioned with a simple board across, and it worked. It was amateur, sure, but I liked that it was inviting. It wasn't pretentious. It was very simple, laid back. And I said to myself, well, how hard could it be to do my own video? And, you know, any conversation that starts off with, well, how hard can it be? You know it's going to go downhill from there. So I produced my first video, and I thought I did a pretty good job. I had so many jump cuts. It was terrible. I don't know why, I had it set to auto, so my exposure kept changing. It was a terrible video, but it was also a very important video because I had gotten off the couch. I had actually produced something. I guess what I'm trying to say is I had finally done something. When you keep thinking about doing something, you keep dreaming about doing something, when you actually take action, it changes everything. It's no longer, yeah, I'll get to it sooner or later. It's now, okay, I want to make it better. You get into a competition with yourself. And back then I was shooting with a Canon 70D. It was 2019. The camera was about 5 or 6 years old. It was not producing the best quality, but then again, I had a long way to go. But I started listening to people. I started adopting mentors. I started consulting with people, trying to figure out what I could do to improve my channel. I came up with a vision for my channel, and you can see that today. It was to deliver informative news, rumors, content creation, YouTube reviews on camera gear. And I've been doing that. Now my channel has changed throughout the year. I pivoted a bit more to news and rumors because that's what Google Analytics is telling me. Is that's what you guys want the most. It's news, it's rumors, it's news and rumors about exciting stuff such as the R5 or the R1 rather than a camera such as the 5D, or sorry, not the 5D, the R5, not the R5, but the M5, see? I'm completely off scripted, so who knows what I'm going to say. So I kept working at that, and where I'm at now in the channel is I'm producing more reviews because I'm a bit more popular. I'm getting noticed by companies. They're sending me gear, so I have gear to review, and I'm really enjoying that. And I'm moving a little bit more away from the news and rumors. Now, if it's a big piece of news and rumor, then yes, I'm going to jump at it, but I'm not going to jump at every bit of news. In fact, I didn't produce a single video this weekend. So let's take a look back to those early days. Now, after I think about, what was it, a month and a half, I had, 2 subscribers or something? It was pretty bad. But taking the advice I'd been given, I had some goals and objectives. I knew I needed to improve my audio. I knew I needed to improve my presentation skills, lighting, and I did. And after 2.5 months, the channel got monetized. And after a year, just recently, early this morning, this channel reached 16,000 subscribers. Now, I had bought a new camera, the R5, so that chewed up a lot of money. I bought a lens for it and some storage cards, some lighting, and that probably cost me a good $8,000 or something like that US. But on a flip side, the channel pulled in about $7,000 from YouTube alone, about another 15% in affiliate revenue, so about another $1,000 or so. And of course, I've been giving gear, and some of that gear I can use towards prizes for the channel to help get more views, more subscribers, or to provide income. And so the channel at this point, I would say, is breaking even. The business is breaking even. I'm not making money, but on the other side of things, aren't I making money? I mean, this started out as a hobby. This started out as me watching Casey thinking, well, Casey can do this. He's a local guy, not far from me. How hard can it be? Why don't I try doing it? And I did. I set out to do that. And at the end of the day, look, I've got myself a brand new Canon EOS R5, the 24-105 f4, some good storage cards. I've got a new tripod. I've got card readers. I've got Thunderbolt card readers. I've got new lighting. I've got new backdrops. And I'm getting stuff like the Ninja 5 being sent to me for a review. So if I was to stop this channel tonight, if this was my last video, I can walk away saying, you know, that was a fun experience. I was locked up for a good portion of it, and even today, I can't really go out to eat at a restaurant. They're closed. The bars are closed. I've got parks. I've got trails. So I've been using a lot of the time that I would have spent dedicated to binge watching on Netflix or CBC or other channels. Instead, I've got the R5, a really good camera that previously I couldn't have afforded. So I reflect, I look back on this experience and I think it's been great. I'm really glad that I took a different focus to this channel. I developed my own vision, my own goals and objectives, and I decided to focus on delivering capability-based videos, not getting into details about all the ports on a particular device and the different frame rates, the different resolution modes, the different ports, whether it's HDMI 2.0 or 2.1. It wasn't about focusing on specifications. It was about focusing on what capabilities a device gives you. There are a lot of reviews that talk about the R5, the R6, the Sony a7S III, and I find them a bit too detailed. What I want to know, for example, for this external recorder is, what does it allow me to do? Can I record these videos, and instead of recording it to a CF Express card that I have on the camera, then taking that CF Express card, bringing it to the computer, converting it to ProRes, bringing it into Final Cut Pro, and then editing, with 10 minutes, maybe even more elapsing, I can record directly onto this SSD here, pull the SSD out, stick it into my external drive, plug it into the Mac, and I can edit directly off the card, saving myself a minimum of 5 to 10 minutes. And for my longer videos, like my 1-hour Q&A video done weekly, it can save me 20 to 30 minutes. And that's huge. And that's what I focus on, is the actual outcomes you get. The ability to save time, the ability to improve your workflow. And as photographers, whether it be professional or hobbyist, how does the R5 help us improve our product, help us deliver better results? And I'm actually scripting a video right now that's a review of not just the R5, but I look at the R5 alongside the R6, as well as the EOS R. And I look at many different capabilities and focus on how these cameras produce the outcomes that you need. Now, I am providing it from the view of myself, based on the capabilities I need as a filmmaker and photographer, and yours might differ, but I'm able to create this simple heat map that shows you all the capabilities that I'm looking at measuring, and using colors. More green we have, well, the much more aligned it is with the capabilities that I'm looking for. The more red it is, the less aligned it is, and the less ideal the camera is for me. But then I can take certain capabilities such as reliable autofocus, and if that is what I consider to be a mandatory requirement, well, I can outline that in black or some other color, and now visually I can look at these cameras and see, okay, well, 2 of these 3 cameras meet my mandatory specifications or my mandatory capabilities. And I know not even to look at the other camera, because yes, while it's cheaper, it's not giving me that, and that capability is what I really need the most. And that's what I'm doing with this channel. It's a very different channel from others. Very few channels are taking an enterprise architecture approach to it, which is all about providing business value at the end of the day. And if you're not making money from your channel, or if you're not making money from your cameras, that's okay, because business value is still important, because it's about your own money that you're spending. And the last thing I hate doing is buying something and then getting something called buyer's remorse, where I go, I shouldn't have bought that. And that's what my approach to reviews and even covering news and rumors, providing analysis, it's capability based. So where am I going to be in the next year? I really don't know, guys. I'm still going to be following my vision. I may pivot from time to time based on what news is coming out. Now, if we get a rumor or news, and yes, the line between those sometimes grays quite a bit, but I consider them the same thing. It's information that is of interest to us, that helps us make decisions. And so if a piece of news or rumor comes out, well, that gets first priority, because that's what we want to know. And this is that, so this is going to come out later this evening. But what about tutorials? I'm still going to do those as well, though most of you don't really find those of interest. There's a lot of people that do find tutorials interesting, and that's what I want to try to do, is grow the level of interest in the audience in this channel. And what about reviews? Well, I love doing reviews because I get to try out technology that I wouldn't otherwise have. I did a video on the Angelbird 2 terabyte CF Express card not too long ago, and this is actually an Angelbird 500 gigabytes, 500. You can tell I'm old. I'm getting all my TLAs mixed up, but this is a 500 gigabyte SSD. And in that review of the Angelbird 2 terabyte, one of the things I had said is it really depends on your workflow as to whether you want a really fast CF Express card, whether you want a really large capacity CF Express card, or if you want to bypass that whole CF Express card due to the time it takes to transfer your content and get something like a Ninja 5. And as I mentioned earlier, with the Ninja 5, I can record directly onto the SSD in ProRes 422. So it's ready to edit very fast in the computer. CF Express card and the R5 won't let me to record Apple ProRes 422. So if I want that, that can take anywhere from 5 to 30 minutes to convert. And then of course, there's just the transfer speed off the cards. But that doesn't mean that we still don't need CF Express cards or UHS-2 cards. Because if I'm going on vacation, I'm not taking the Ninja with me. And I don't have it down here, but the suitcase that it comes in, it looks like one of those suitcases you see on one of those international spy movies where the President of the United States is carrying around the nuclear football. It's a decent box, That's one more thing that goes on the airplane. That's one less thing I can take with me. And it's one more thing I need to worry about. It makes it bulkier and more complex. So in that video, I focused on 3 different scenarios. And so when I do the review of the Ninja 5, it's going to continue looking at that final scenario is where this can save time and improve workflow. And that's what I'm going to look at. I'm not going to look at every menu setting. I'm not going to look at the best recommended menu settings. It could take half an hour or more. And once you buy it, there are plenty of videos out there if you want to go ahead and do that. I plugged this in as soon as I got it, and within 10 minutes, I had everything set up the way I needed to, and it had started recording. Everything worked out fine. So if you want those videos, they are out there. What I'm trying to do is help you get to the point where you can decide whether this is something you want to buy to determine if those are the settings you want. But I guess lastly, the one thing that I want to stress is I'm going to keep doing this as long as it's fun. If I'm not learning and if I'm not having fun, I'm not going to do it because it does take up a lot of time. It's like having a second full-time job. Once my regular day job ends at 4 o'clock, I can spend anywhere from that time up until 11 o'clock at night working on this, depending on other things that go on. And yes, there's family things that happen in between like 5 and 7 o'clock. It's mostly family time. But as long as it's fun, I'm going to keep doing it. But one other thing that I recommend if you're looking at doing a channel, if you're thinking like me and you're sitting on the couch going, look, this guy can do it, how hard can it be? Don't just sit on the couch and think how hard can it be. Don't wait to get your next new camera. Don't wait to get gear. Use your smartphone. Start filming. Try it out. Publish it. If you're worried about your friends laughing at it, don't worry. They're not going to see it. The way YouTube's algorithm works is you have to get pretty big before your friends start watching it. And your friends even then have to be interested in the same subject that you're going to be talking about. But once you produce your first video, review it. What did you do wrong? Tweak it. Make changes based on what you didn't like, and then very quickly produce another one. When I started producing daily videos in May, one thing I learned very quickly is how to get better at this, and my views went up dramatically, as did my income. But I was also blessed. I happened to pick late October 2019, just as camera rumors started kicking up, because 2020, despite COVID, was supposed to be a very big year for cameras because of the Olympics in Japan. And all the major Japanese companies, camera companies, were going to be releasing their flagship or high-end video cameras, stills cameras, hybrid cameras, and lenses. And sure enough, it has turned out to be a very exciting year. We've had cameras from Fuji, from Nikon, from Canon, from Sony, from Panasonic. And so I was lucky to catch the wave in the R5. News and rumors really did help me. But that's it for now. Don't forget to subscribe for your chance to win the Synco Lav S6E and M3 shotgun microphones. I'll be awarding these 2 prizes to one lucky viewer once the channel reaches 20,000 subscribers. Then for every 10,000 subscribers after that, I'll be offering up a different and more expensive prize until the channel reaches 100,000 subscribers. At that point, I'll be awarding a brand new Canon EOS R5 full-frame mirrorless camera to one lucky viewer. And on that bombshell, thanks for watching The Ordinary Filmmaker. We'll see you again soon, and thanks for your patronage.